بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الذين يبايعونك إنما يبايعون الله يد الله فوق أيديهم. صدق الله العظيم. اللهم صل على محمد في أول كلامنا، اللهم صل على محمد في أوسط كلامنا، اللهم صل على محمد في آخر كلامنا. Moving on, inshallah, with our lesson on the lives of the 10 Sahaba who were guaranteed Jannah by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inshallah, today we will be going through briefly, very briefly, the life of the third on the list, Uthman fil Jannah, Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu, Uthman ibn Affan. The book which I have in front of me is Suwar min Hayati Sahaba of Dr. Abdurrahman al-Basha. Very amazing book. So he starts off the book and he mentions that in the entire history of humanity since Adam alayhi salam till today, there has not been anyone who has had the honor of wedding two daughters of any prophet. No one. Except for Uthman Radhiyallahu Anh, who had this honor twice. Inshallah, we will go into the detail. Innahu Dhun Noorain. Indeed, he is a person of the two lights. Wa sahibul hijratain. He is a person of two hijrah. Meaning, he migrated from Mecca to Abyssinia, and then he migrated from Mecca to Medina. Okay? So two hijrah. Wa zawjul ibnatain, and the husband of two daughters of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Uthman ibn Affan radiyallahu anhu wa ardah. Uthman radiyallahu anhu was amongst the high profile people, even in Jahiliyyah. He was amongst the very high class people. He was blessed in many different ways. Allah gave him he was born into a wealthy family, very high lineage. In every way they were very high. But subhanallah, despite being very high, hammut tawadu', he was a embodiment of humility. Shadidul haya, he was filled with haya. Okay, he was the embodiment of humility, and he was filled with haya. That is why, out of all the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum, the haya of Uthman radiyallahu anhu was exceptional, outstanding. Subhanallah. That is why a woman from the Quraysh, she used to say to her little child, when she used to be like lulling her child off, then she used to read some couplets. What were the couplets? أُحِبُّكَ وَالرَّحْمَنِ حُبَّ قُرَيْشٍ لِعُثْمَانِ. I love you, and may the Rahman love you the way Quraysh love Uthman. Now people used to, the way Quraysh loves Uthman. So when Allah gave him the nur of Islam in Mecca, Uthman radiallahu anhu was amongst the very early Muslims who came into Islam. Subhanallah. And there are many narrations as to how he became Muslim. That one of the incidents that comes in narration, that when Uthman radiallahu anhu got the news, that time it wasn't, Islam hadn't come into the public yet. So when Uthman radiallahu anhu got the news that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has got his daughter Ruqayya married to her uncle Utbah, her uncle's son, Utbah ibn Abi Lahab, Abu Lahab's son, got him married, he became very saddened. Okay? And subhanallah, he wanted, he was just thinking that, I wish that this honor could have been for me. But anyway, he entered upon his family very, very saddened. So he found by his family Su'da bint Qurayz, and she was a very, very intelligent woman, and she was quite elderly as well, and she became happy looking at him, and she informed him that soon a lot of changes will happen, so you don't need to worry about it. And then he was thinking that, what changes can happen now? Seems to have been over. So anyway, he was thinking to the extent that he went out, and then he met Abu Bakr Radhiyallahu Anhu as he went out. And then he mentioned to Abu Bakr Radhiyallahu Anhu what his aunt had told him, that woman, Su'da. So Abu Bakr Radhiyallahu Anhu said, by Allah, that your aunt has said the truth. There is a lot of change that is happening in and around Makkah. There is a person who is calling people to Islam, calling people to Allah, and you are a very intelligent person. Then Abu Bakr Radhiyallahu Anhu said, Abu Bakr Radhiyallahu Anhu said to me, what are these idols which our qawm, our people are worshipping? What are they? Are they not made from stones who are dumb? They don't hear, they don't see. So I said, yes, why not? So then Abu Bakr Radhiyallahu Anhu said that indeed Allah has sent His Prophet, who is a messenger to the people, all the people, to guide people and to tell them the right way. So I got passionate, I got enthusiastic that who is this person? So I asked Abu Bakr Radhiyallahu Anhu, who is he? So he said, he is Muhammad ibn Abdullah ibn Abdul Muttalib. So immediately I said, As-Sadiq al-Amin? The one who is Sadiq al-Amin, meaning the most truthful and the most trustworthy? Is that the one you're talking about? Because that is what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was known before prophethood in Makkah, Sadiq al-Amin. He was very honest, very trustworthy. Allah give us understanding. Today, unfortunately, that is the greatest da'wah a person can ever do. The first thing a person can ever do before calling people to Islam is to show them his honesty. Show the world trustworthiness, his truthfulness. Subhanallah, there is an incident in which a person, he was a taxi driver. So he went he took some passengers. So there was two people who he took on, they were together. And then halfway through, one of the persons, they said, please drop me off here. So he said, okay. So he gave him half of the fare, £6. Then by the end of the journey, the other person, he said, okay, gave him the other £6, gave him £12, and he said, now the journey is finished. So that person, he said, your friend already gave me half, so you don't need to pay me the full. The full journey only cost £12. So your friend already gave me 6, so you only need to give me 6, you don't need to give me 12. And he gave him £6 back. So that person looked at him and said, it seems that you're not a Muslim. It seems you're not a Muslim. So what does it mean? He said, if it was a Muslim who was doing this, he would have taken that £6 and he wouldn't have cared about it. The fact that you are being honest and you are returning the £6 to me, it shows that you are not a Muslim, because Muslims don't do these kind of things. Can you just imagine what name Islam has got today? How Allah save us. People want to describe dishonest people, and then they want to immediately. Abu Bakr, Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu said, As-Sadiq al-Amin? He said, yes, that is the one. So then I said, do you have any way that you can join me to go and meet this person? She said, yes. So Abu Bakr Radhiyallahu Anhu walked with me. Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu is mentioning this. He walked with me to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So when the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saw me, he said, Ajib ya Uthman. Uthman, accept the message. Accept the message of who? The caller of Allah. Meaning this message that Allah has sent me with, I am the caller of Allah. I am calling people to this message to accept it. So he sent him an immediate friend request. Send him a friend request. So are you going to accept it or reject it? Are you going to accept Islam? Because I am the Prophet of Allah to you specifically, and to all the creation of Allah generally. Subhanallah. Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu said, by Allah, this filled my eyes, and I heard his, meaning tears came to my eyes, and I heard his words, until I had to firmly believe, I could firmly feel the honesty of it in my heart. I said, this guy has to, it's not a normal person speaking, it's a Sadiq al-Amin. That is when Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu said, I had to say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu in another hadith he says, that Allah has given me 10 such virtues which Allah has never given to anybody before me, or Allah has hardly given to anyone. One of them, the first one he mentions, I was the fourth to become Muslim. The fourth. Meaning amongst the men could be. There were others as well. According to him, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud could be the fifth or the sixth. Khabbaab Radhiyallahu Anhu was the sixth or the seventh. So around that, they were early Muslims. Khadija Radhiyallahu Anha, if you only take the males. Otherwise, if you add Khadija Radhiyallahu Anha, Ali Radhiyallahu Anhu, Zayd ibn Haritha Radhiyallahu Anhu, these little children and the slaves as well, then Abu Bakr Radhiyallahu Anhu is not the first Muslim. He will become the third or the fourth. Okay? But if you take the males, adults, then Abu Bakr Radhiyallahu Anhu is the first one. Wa pehla madadgar, pehla sahabi. Nobody had bought Iman on the Prophet ﷺ from his Qawm Banu Hashim until that day. Meaning he was among the first ones. And Abu Lahab and her wife Jamil were the most difficult against Islam and the Muslims, and they were the most difficult against the Prophet ﷺ. They started it from day one, when the Prophet ﷺ called everybody on around Mount Safa, and he said, look, if I was to tell you if there is somebody on the other side about to attack you, will you believe me? So he said, yes, you are the most honest. So he said, I am warning you of a punishment that is to come. So immediately, just there and then, Abu Lahab said, is this why you wasted our time? Is this why you called us here? May you be destroyed, tabban lak. Woe to you, destruction be for you. Is this why you wasted our time to call, just to listen to this? So there and then he said it. That is when Allah said, Tabbat yada abi lahabi wa tab. Yeah. So they were the most difficult against Islam and Muslims. And every other person used to call the Prophet ﷺ Muhammad. Muhammad means the praiseworthy one. They used to, Jamil used to actually call the Prophet of Allah Mudhammam, the despised one. Nobody likes him, na'udhu billah. Mudhammaman asayna amruhu abayna dinuhu qalayna. We don't like his deen, we don't want to know his message, we hate him. That is the type of thing she used to shout in the streets of Medina, Makkah. So she was very severe against Islam. So when the ayat was revealed, Tabbat yada abi lahabi wa tab, ma aghna anhu maluhu wa ma kasab. Tabbat yada means, he is telling you that you are destroyed, may his hands be destroyed. The hands of Abu Lahab. his wealth doesn't, benefit him in any way, and whatever he has earned. Soon he will enter Jahannam, ذات lahab, and his wife, في جيدها حبل من مسد. They will be tied properly. So when Abu Lahab, he heard this, then he got even more angry. He started firing. The whole name Lahab means a person who is blazing, boiling. Lahab, like smoke is coming out of him. Like basically, the reason they used to first call him Lahab was because he was very beautiful, a very good looking guy. So it's literally, when you see a guy very good looking, then you say, this person has got literally beauty blowing out of him. That's what you're saying. Wealth is blowing out of him. Knowledge is blowing out of him. He's blowing it. So Lahab, the wind of beauty is blowing out of him. But when Quran mentioned it, then that was really about not his beauty, was about the fire of Jahannam blowing on him. See the difference? So Allah used the same word, Lahab, Lahab. Lahab literally means the hot air. So then he called his son Utbah and he said, divorce your wife now. How dare you keep his daughter Ruqayya in your nikah, in your marriage? Like the marriage hadn't been consummated, they just had, the normal. In those days they used to have a khitbah. Khitbah means they used to just have a ritual of acceptance and everything, and how we have the nikah today. They used to have it some sort of like that. So just there and then, just to make, he divorced his wife. So now the Prophet ﷺ, when he heard when Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu heard that Ruqayya has been divorced, he came and he put a proposal to the Prophet ﷺ. So then the Prophet ﷺ got her married to him. And al-Mu'mineen Khadija Radhiyallahu Anha, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, did all the preparation in terms of the house and everything. And Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu was known to be a very beautiful person, and then when he got married to the daughter of the Prophet ﷺ, then that became like a talk of the town, that subhanallah, what's happened. Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu had many other virtues as well. So when he got married to one of the daughters of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then due to the difficulty that they were going through in Mecca, the Muslims were forced to migrate to Abyssinia. That is where a lot of people, they say that, are you allowed to live in a non-Muslim country? So yeah, if the non-Muslim country is accommodating to Muslims, they allow Muslims to live and to fulfill their commands, their rituals, and there's nothing to stop them from following Islam, then why not? The Sahaba, they migrated to Abyssinia. Abyssinia was not a Muslim country. Habasha, it wasn't a Muslim country. Nowadays Abyssinia has been divided into 6 countries. 6 countries. In those days that was all one country. So nowadays you have Somalia, Sudan, South Sudan, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Eritrea. These 6 countries together was known as Habasha. So that was a Christian area, Christian land. The king of there was Najashi, and but he was very accommodating to Islam and Muslims. But subhanallah, he became a Muslim later on. He became a Muslim. But subhanallah, he became a Muslim to the extent that he didn't see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't see him, because he was king. The Prophet of Allah was in Makkah, Medina, so he didn't get a chance. But Amr ibn As came to Habasha to get all the Muslims back, to lie to them that, that time he wasn't a Muslim, that Amr ibn As Radhiyallahu Anhu wasn't a Muslim as well. So he wanted to he said, how did these guys run away? How did these guys run away? We wanted to punish them in Mecca. So let's go there, tell the king that, look, these people have just run away and we're here to take them back, they are our slaves, and you need to hand them over to us, and we'll tell them everything's nice and rosy in Mecca and everything, so you need to come back to your own family and home and everything. So when he came, then the king said that, look, if they are here for safety, for security, I'm not going to let them go. And then he started giving da'wah to Amr ibn As Radhiyallahu Anhu, the king. And he said, do you think you should become Muslim as well? You should take the message. Consider it, think about it. So Amr ibn As Radhiyallahu Anhu started thinking about it. He wasn't a Muslim that time, he started thinking about it. Yeah. And then later on, he became Muslim as well. So Amr ibn As is such a Sahabi who was given da'wah by the Tabi'i. The Tabi'i gave him da'wah. A guy who never saw the Prophet of Allah, he gave him da'wah, due to which he then became a Sahabi. Amazing. So then the Prophet ﷺ wanted to see Ruqayya Radhiyallahu Anha, her daughter. So the Prophet ﷺ called her back. He said, please come back. And then they came back to Makkah, and then they migrated to Medina Munawwara. Uthman ibn Affan Radhiyallahu Anhu participated in all the battles. The only battles he didn't get to participate was in the battle of Badr. And the reason for that was that the Prophet of Allah himself told him not to participate. Otherwise he was ready for it. And why did the Prophet of Allah himself told him not to participate? It's because his wife Ruqayya Radhiyallahu Anha was very, very sick. She was very ill. So the Prophet ﷺ said, "O Uthman, look after your wife. You will get the full reward of those who participate in Badr. And you will even get a share out of the Mali Ghanima. You will even get a share out of it. As if you were physically there. Because your heart and mind is there, but you don't want to, you look after your wife at home." So when the Prophet ﷺ came back from Badr, and mashallah the Muslims, they had a good conquest in Badr, he found out that his daughter has passed away, Ruqayya Radhiyallahu Anha. So then the Prophet ﷺ did the janazah and everything was done, long incident. And then the Prophet ﷺ after a few days saw that Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu seemed to be very, very sad. So he said, "Everything okay?" She said, "O Prophet of Allah, Allah gave me the honor to be your son-in-law. That is not anymore. The wife has passed away, what can we do?" So the Prophet ﷺ said, "Uthman, come. Allah has commanded me to get my other daughter married to you now as well." Second one, Kulthum. That is when he got the title Dhun Noorain, the person of two lights. Subhanallah. And like I mentioned, he was the only person in the whole history of humanity who got married to two daughters of the best of all, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The only person. The Islam of Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu was amongst the greatest blessing. Allah had put blessing upon the Muslims, because he was mashallah quite wealthy, and he spent all his wealth for Islam and Muslims. So financially, the wealth of Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu helped Islam and Muslims a lot. Physically, Umar Radhiyallahu Anhu helped Islam. Physically, strength. Like how we did it last week, that Umar Radhiyallahu Anhu, he was such a strong person that when he became Muslim, it gave strength to Islam. Meaning now Muslims were not scared anymore, we've got Umar on our side. But when Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu became Muslim, it financially helped Islam. because he was quite a wealthy person. So whenever any problem struck the Muslims, Uthman radiallahu anhu was the first one to help, to give everything to help them. He was ready to go out of his way to put all his finances. Amazing. That is why there is that amazing incident of Uthman radiallahu anhu from the occasion of the Battle of Tabuk. Tabuk was a very, very difficult battle. In fact, the Quran says Sa'atil Usr. Usr means, difficulty. So the Quran calls the Battle of Tabuk as an occasion of great difficulty, because it was a very long journey. The Prophet ﷺ from Medina to Tabuk is quite a few hundred kilometers, and the Prophet ﷺ had to take this journey in peak summer. Now here the summer is not as hot, but the summer of desert Arabia, you're roasting. And in such hot heat, the Prophet of Allah, he took this journey of hundreds of kilometers. So now there was a need of a lot of wealth. They were in need of a lot of wealth because the odds were difficult. So now the Prophet ﷺ, because on one side you had the Muslims and the Sahaba, on the other hand in Tabuk you had the Byzantines, who were like the superpower of the time. So Muslims are handful in Medina and around Medina. And Tabuk is, if you trying to fight a superpower, the odds are high. How are you going to manage? So now the Prophet ﷺ wanted help in every way. And the journey was going to be long, it was going to be difficult in every way. So now the Prophet ﷺ made an announcement. Understand? The Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba says very few times the Prophet of Allah actually got on the mimbar and he made an announcement for finance, collection. He did a collection. But in this occasion he did it. And he did like a full-on collection, full, active collection. So he got on the mimbar, the Prophet ﷺ, he praised Allah, and then he started motivating the Muslims to give in the path of Allah. And he started telling them the great reward Allah will give them, the more they will give. So Uthman radiallahu anhu stood up. He didn't say, I'm going to give anyway, so what's the point of standing up? Everybody knows that anyway. No. The Prophet of Allah is asking for it and I'm sitting down. How is that possible? Immediately he stood up. And he said, I take the responsibility of 100 camels. Meaning I donate 100 camels laden with all the equipments, all ammunitions, all the items on top of it. Meaning 100 camels not on its own, but filled with food, filled with weapons, filled with everything you need for the journey. 100 of them. And a camel can take a lot of load. So imagine. So not only 100 of them. So the Prophet ﷺ came down one step from the mimbar. So he was standing on the third step. He came down one step. Then he came on the middle step and he started motivating, because like I mentioned, the challenge was big. It was a big challenge. It wasn't a small challenge. So now the Prophet ﷺ motivated the people again. Please give. Allah will give you this. The more a person will give, Allah will give. So the Prophet of Allah continued his collection. So Uthman radiallahu anhu for a second time stood up. He didn't say, I've already stood up anyway, I've given my name. Let's see who else is ready. Let's see what somebody else can do. I've already done my bit. No. He stood up again. Listen. When it comes to dunya, then we want seconds and thirds. When it comes to food, when it comes to other things, I don't mind seconds. When it comes to akhirah, I've already done once. Why do I need to do it again and again? Uthman radiallahu anhu was that way around. If Allah is now giving me another opportunity to give, why not give? Instead of looking at other people, let me look at myself. Listen. When it comes to doing good deeds, then we look at other people. You do it, man. No. When it comes for food, then nobody says, you eat. Then we want to eat ourselves. Comes to other things, Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu, he said, and take another 100 camels. So he's already given 100, another 100. Filled with all the items and all the necessities and all the weapons and everything that is needed for the journey and the battle and everything. Another 100 camels, 200 is already given. So subhanAllah, the Prophet ﷺ became elated. He started smiling. You could see the happiness on the face of the Prophet of Allah. Imagine you doing a good deed and the Prophet of Allah being excited with it. Can there be anything better than this? The Prophet of Allah smiling and he's getting happy and he's getting excited. Amazing. Then he came down one more step from the mimbar. So first he was on the third, then he came down second, now he's on the first step. And then he started continue to motivate the people to, because like I mentioned, the challenge was very great. So for a third time, Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu stood up again. He said, another 100 camel, filled with its items and its equipments and everything. So subhanAllah, that is when the Prophet ﷺ made dua. Allahumma inni ghaditu Uthman. Wallah, I have become happy with Uthman. You also become happy with him. What more does he need? Ma dhagwa Uthman ma amila ba'da hadha al-yawm. Whatever Uthman will do from today onwards, Jannah is already guaranteed for him. It will never affect him. He's already got Jannah. If it was us, we would say, Alhamdulillah, I don't need to do anything more. The Prophet of Allah said it. He said it must not be on the mimbar, man. Come on. What more do you need? No. Uthman, Sahaba were not such people, they would latch on to credit. Dude, today we just wait for a little, half a line or something. Yeah. You heard what he said? Have you forgotten it? Shall I remind you? Are you going to remind the angels in the grave? Something to think about. Sahaba Radhiyallahu Anhu, the Prophet of Allah gave them so many virtues, but subhanAllah, they never latched onto it. They continued doing good upon good. Then the Prophet ﷺ was about to come down the mimbar until Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu went to his house and he sent, he bought a packet, like a bag filled with 1,000 gold coins. 1,000 gold coins. So he's already given 300 camels. And then he came back with a packet, a bag filled with 1,000 gold coins. Today we have a bit of a credit card. Before, it used to be paper money. So a person, he's just got a bunch of paper in his pocket and he gets excited. A lot of money there. Gets excited. It's just a bunch of papers. Now not even that. Now you just got a card. So he doesn't even see the money anywhere. But he gets excited. I'm a millionaire. Where's the money? Oh, it's digital. It's in the bank. This is literally, you can actually have the money there. Gold. Which nobody has today. People, they just have digital money and they just have paper money and whatever. It's very difficult. Subhanallah. So the Prophet ﷺ, when that bag of gold coins was presented to the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ started picking the bag of gold coins and he started saying, غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَكَ يَا عُثْمَانِ ما قدمت وما أخرت وما أسررت وما أعلنت وما هو كائن إلى يوم القيامة. Allah forgive you, Uthman. Whatever you did before, whatever you are going to do after, whatever you did secretly, whatever you're going to do publicly, whatever you did this. But this dua you will never find for any other person the Prophet of Allah ever made. The Prophet of Allah only made it for Uthman. The Prophet of Allah didn't say to Uthman didn't say to the Prophet of Allah, "Oh Prophet of Allah, make dua for me." Did he say? No. Did he say this? No. One is to make dua yourself. Oh Allah, give me this. Oh Allah, become happy with it. Oh Allah, forgive me. Oh Allah. That's one way. It could be accepted. It may be accepted. Allah, Allah may respond Allah, whatever Allah feels. One is to ask somebody for dua, please make dua for me. So whenever they write a message, request for du'as. Today in fact even a person will swear at another person, say du'as bro, du'as. But actually it wasn't really a thing which you need to make dua for. So that is one way. You made dua, that's one way, yourself. One is you ask somebody for dua. Number 3, you just serve the person so good, you make him so happy that automatically he makes dua for you. Automatically. Here, Uthman didn't have to ask the Prophet of Allah, oh Prophet of Allah, make dua for me. Nowadays the person will just give a little 50p, 1 pound, 5 pound. I need a lot of dua, brother. You give big, you will get a big dua, automatically will come out. Anyway, whatever you give, inshallah, is fine in the path of Allah. So Uthman radiallahu anhu, he gave big. He never had to ask the Prophet of Allah that, oh Prophet of Allah, make dua for me. Automatically these du'as were flowing from the tongue of the Prophet of Allah, flowing. Subhanallah. Do you think that dua which automatically comes out, that has to be from the heart? That has to be, without asking, it's coming out. Without asking. In the Khilafah of Umar Radhiyallahu anhu, there was an occasion of Amr Rimad. Amr Rimad was a Rimada means something to burn. So basically there was a famine where for months and nearly a year there was no rain. People were dying. So hot. Imagine, for days there's no rain, months there's no rain, and there was no crops growing, no animal cannot find anything to eat. So the animals are getting thin by the day, they're dying, no milk coming out of the animals, people are dying, nothing to eat. Yeah, they can't take any milk out of the animals is not taking them anywhere, there's no water, they are literally suffocating, they are literally dying. And that was an amazing incident as well. Umar radiallahu anhu, he sent aid and he sent aid and he sent aid. And he got on the minbar one day and he said, look people, all these things are happening because we are committing a lot of sins. Either you stop sinning or I'm not the Amirul Mu'mineen anymore. Make your mind up. Umar radiallahu anhu, one day he just flipped it. He said, either you stop sinning or I'm not the Amirul Mu'mineen anymore. Which of the two? Umar radiallahu anhu was to the point. The earth is shaking in the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, and he gets his whip and he said, why are you shaking? Am I not doing justice on you? Do you dare shake again? He never shook after that. He never shook. That was it. Today nobody will listen to us. Yeah. Umar radiallahu anhu, everybody used to listen to him. So now people were coming to Medina upon Medina. People were traveling and they were thinking that Medina was like the capital. Medina was the capital. So they said, Chalo, the capital, they will help us. So many people started dying, and so they all came to Medina, and they said to Umar radiallahu anhu, Ya Khalifat Rasulillah, inna as-sama la tumtir wa inna al-ard la tumbit. There's no rain coming from the sky, the earth is not growing anything. And it became very, very difficult upon the people. The people are about to die. So what should we do? So Umar radiallahu anhu looked at the situation of the people and he said, do sabr and seek, account yourself, turn to Allah, do tawbah, because I have hope that if you turn to Allah, Allah will make way for you. When it was so this happened in the morning. By the evening, news came that cargo, you can say, what you could go in this land, a huge container, meaning a huge supply of Uthman radiallahu anhu came from Sham, and it is about to reach Medina in the morning. So a huge container of his business items. I think he was a big businessman, so he used to buy and sell things, and he used to be. So when it was when Fajr Salah was finished and everybody started going towards the container. They said that it's difficult time, so let us buy whatever we can so we have enough stock for ourselves. New stock has come in, let's stock up before we lose everything. If we need to sell it, we can buy, and we're ready to sell it to other people as well, so we can make some money for ourselves. So that was what was the container? What was in that items that came, that shipment that came? There were 1,000 camels, which was filled with wheat, olives, sultanas, raisins, these kind of things. They were filled with it, meaning filled with fruit and vegetables, literally. 1,000 camels, 1,000. So everybody came onto the door of Uthman Radhiyallahu. Uthman Radhiyallahu, you're the boss. What deal can we come to? So they said that, look, sell it to us, sell it to us. So they said, look, okay, I will sell it to you, but what will you give it? What are you ready to pay for it? Nothing comes free. She said, we will give you, for every dirham, we will give you 2 dirham. We're ready to pay double. So normally something that would cost 1 dirham, we'll give you double, 2 dirham. Because the demand is a lot great here. Because they know that if they pay 2 here, other people will pay 4 to them. Because there's nobody else here. Everything is famine, everything is finished. She said, no, too less, I need more. She said, okay. How much more? She said, I want quite a bit more, that's too less for me. So they said, look, we are the only big businessmen in Medina, there's nobody else besides us. So who else is going to give you more than what we are ready to give you? So he said, Allah is ready to give me for every dirham minimum 10 in return. You only want to give me 2, 3, 4. Allah will give me 10. So anybody can give me more than 10? Anybody can give me 11, 12? Let's go for it. Let's see how much you can go along with. So everybody was quiet. No, they can't even afford 11, 12. So they all gave in. So he said, I testify that all this thousands of camel is sadaqah for all the needy Muslims. I don't want anything from anyone. Everything is for the sake of Allah. Allah will give me the full reward. Give everything away. Imagine. What will we do today? Today, those who do give, they will take a share out for their own family. They will take a share out for their house. They will take a share out for other things. The leftover they will give in the path of Allah. Say, yeah, alhamdulillah, I've given a lot. He gave everything. Didn't even touch anything. Give everything to the needy Muslims. That is the spirit we need today. When Khilafah came to Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu, lot of lands were conquered in his hands. The land of Armenia, Kufaz, these Iraq and those type of places, Khurasan, Sijistan. Sijistan is Afghanistan, Qobrus, and Cyprus. All these areas were a lot of part of Africa. All these were conquered in the time of Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu. So Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu used to be a very, very amazing person in terms of how he became the Amir al-Mu'mineen as well. When Umar Radhiyallahu Anhu left this world, and before he left this world, then he said to there were 6 Sahaba from the Asharah Mubasharah who were still left. Yeah? So he said, these 6 Sahaba, give them 3 days to decide who amongst them will be the Amir al-Mu'mineen. One of them needs to be the Amir al-Mu'mineen. So then Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, he gave in that, look, I can't be the Amir al-Mu'mineen. Then slowly, it came down to 4 people, it came down to 3 people, and at the end, everybody said, Uthman, you have to be the Amir al-Mu'mineen. So the Prophet ﷺ said to Uthman, in the time of the Prophet of Allah, now this is happening 13 years after the demise of Rasul ﷺ, that he's been Amir al-Mu'mineen. 12, 13 years after. But the Prophet of Allah already told Uthman that Uthman, you will be made to wear the robe of Khilafah. You will be made to wear it. You will not want to wear it, but you will be made to wear it. Don't ever take it out. Once you start wearing it, meaning once you become the Amir al-Mu'mineen, don't ever take it out. In any cost, don't ever take it out. So when he was the Amir al-Mu'mineen, a lot of people towards the end of his life started rebelling, wanted that this person is too old to be the Amir al-Mu'mineen, he needs to go. Because that time Uthman Radhiyallahu was quite old as well. He was about 80 to 82, he left this world, he was made shaheed. So Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu, the last few days of his life, he was stopped. They even took Masjid al-Nabi over, and the house arrested Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu, meaning they surrounded his house. They blocked him. He couldn't even go out of the house. Nothing could come in, nothing could go out. And he told the people, you people today, you are stopping me from drinking water from this well. When it was me in the time of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came to Medina, and this well used to belong to a Jew, and the Prophet of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, who will buy this well of this Jew? Allah will give him the waters of Jannah. So I went to the Jew and I started making a deal for him, and he said, I am not ready to sell this well under any cost. The most I can do is I will only sell half of the well. And that is also, he agreed such a high price which nobody would agree with. But I agreed. Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu said, I agreed. Why? Because the Prophet of Allah wanted that. So I gave him 35,000 dinar, gold coins, which was a lot in those days. And the guy said, only half belongs to you, meaning one day only you can use, one day I will use, one day you use, one day I use, one day you use. So the day it was Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu's day, then he would make an announcement, today all the Muslims, water is free, fill your bottles, it's all free. And the next day when it was the Jews' turn, then he would sell the water. So of course, if everybody is getting the water free the day before, the day after, they're not going to bother buying it. So nobody used to buy the water anymore, because they'll fill it up the day before, they're going to wait the day after. So then, after a few months, the Jew forcefully said to Uthman, please buy the other half for me as well, please buy. And then he had to end up selling the other half for just 8,000 dinar. Meaning, less than quarter of the price to what he had sold the other half with. Less than quarter of that price. Then he wasn't allowed to, he was the one who extended Masjid al-Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He made Masjid al-Nabi big, extended it. He made extensions. And he made a lot of, he started making the lifestyle of the people better. Some Sahaba were not agreeing with it. Abu Dharr Radhiyallahu Anhu used to say that, why are we changing the lifestyle the way we used to live in the time of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Why are we making our houses better than we used to do in the time of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? Now Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu used to say that, I want the non-Muslims who become Muslim, the new Muslims, not to feel that because they become Muslim, they have lost anything. I want them to live in good houses. I want them to have a good standard of living. I want them to feel achieved by becoming Muslim. I don't want them to feel that they have lost anything. Now he had his own views. Anyway, so when it was house arrested, and it became very, very difficult, and it was the last few days, and it was the last day, the Prophet ﷺ came to his dream, and he said, Uthman, tomorrow you will be fasting. Tomorrow you will be fasting. It was the day of Friday. Tomorrow, Uthman, you will be fasting. You will do sihri with your family, but you will do iftar with me. You will do iftar with me. Amazing. So Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu did the morning in the state of fasting. He wore a long, trousers, fearing that his satr doesn't get exposed in any way. Then when he was killed, he was reading the Quran, he was killed. That was the day of Jum'ah. It was the 18th of Dhul Hijjah. Everybody had gone for Hajj. Dhul Hijjah, everybody had gone for Hajj and they hadn't returned yet. So they saw that the crowd in Medina is less. Everybody is at Hajj. So it's a good time to kill him. And he was fasting and he was reading Quran whilst he was when he was leaving this world. Every other shaheed, there will be some shaheed, the battle of Badr, the battlefield of Badr will be given witness for the martyrdom. There will be some shaheed, the battlefield of Uhud will be given the witness for them. Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu is such a shaheed, the Quran will be given witness for him. The blood stain is still there. Go to the palaces, the museums of Turkey, Topkapi Museum. فَسَيَكْفِيكَهُمُ اللَّهُ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ صِبْغَةَ اللَّهِ وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ اللَّهِ صِبْغَةً وَنَحْنُ لَهُ عَابِدُونَ. The blood mark is still there. Allah give us understanding. He passed away reading Quran. He will be resurrected on the day of Qiyamah reading the Quran. Allah give us such love for Quran. Allah give us. He heard from Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَهُ. The narration of this hadith, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَهُ. The best amongst you is the one who learns the Quran and teaches it. The one who narrates it from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu. And he used to love it. He said, when the Prophet of Allah says that's the best, can there be anything better in the world? Can there be anything better? Today somebody leading the Quran and somebody teaching the Quran, we say, oh, is that all he's doing? That's the best thing he's doing. Not my word, the words of the Prophet of Allah. Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu used to love reading the Quran. In one witr he used to finish the entire Quran. One witr. Abu Abdurrahman al-Sulami says that I was coming out of Masjid al-Haram in Mecca. And I was with Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu. So Uthman Radhiyallahu Anhu said, oh Abu Abdurrahman, give me a few moments.